Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us today. We'd like to provide an update on response and recovery efforts to this latest storm, Hurricane Ian. Lee County and all of its partner agencies are actively engaged in damage assessment today, along with search and rescue operations. Earlier today, the sheriff provided helicopters for us to fly in and around Lee County to do our very first aerial assessment to try and get a handle on the magnitude of the damage for Lee County. And I can tell you that in all these years, I've not seen damage to Lee County from a storm like this. When you take a look at the barrier islands, particularly from the air, it's very clear to see where the storm came on shore and then just churned with 140-mile-an-hour winds over the islands for some period of time. Probably the greatest amount of damage and decimation is at Fort Myers Beach. There's extensive damage to the buildings on Sanibel, and the Pine Island. The bridges to Pine Island have all failed. So right now you cannot get to Pine Island by vehicle. Likewise, there are five structural failures on the Sanibel Causeway. There are 5 sections of roadway that have just fallen away. We are working with those cities to make sure that we're getting proper resources to the islands. The sheriff will talk with you in just a moment about some of his rescue efforts that are underway. So as the day progresses, we have more and more resources coming to Fort Myers that include, the sheriff's office, of course, has been active since before the wind quit blowing. And we are working with the urban search and rescue teams from Florida, including fire, law enforcement, and EMS personnel. That all began before daylight. And the federal urban search and rescue teams from across the country have been deployed as well, and we anticipate they will be in Lee County sometime today and into the early hours tomorrow, and they are prepared to go to work right away. It's important to remember that Lee County government, along with the sheriff's office, executed a countywide curfew last night at 6 p.m. That curfew applies to not just unincorporated Lee County, but to all of the cities as well. It started at 6 o'clock last night, and it is in effect until it is changed by local government. All 15 shelters in Lee County remain open. As of yesterday, late in the day, there were only still about 4,000 people in those shelters. Given the amount of damage in the community, I think it's reasonable to expect that those shelters will begin to fill up a little more. We have space for about 40,000 people. So if you need sheltering and you can't make your way out of town to more comfortable accommodations, then you can come to these shelters. The emergency management operation, along with other partners, are working to increase water, ice, and food supplies in Lee County. So over the next several days, you'll see more and more of semi-tractor trailers loaded with water and ice and food showing up in Lee County, and we will publicize to the best of our ability so that everyone will know where they can pick up water and those supplies. Infrastructure continues to be assessed. We know that the utility systems countywide, potable water and water treatment systems have failed. We are searching for the source of those failures today, and I would hope that we would have those resolved over the next day or so. But in the meantime, there's a boil water order countywide. Bridge inspections are across the county are underway as we speak. We're receiving help from the Florida Department of Transportation bridge engineers, along with our own engineers, and we hope to have all the bridges inspected, by sometime tomorrow. In the meantime, avoid them if you can. We cannot guarantee safety on all of them. And when you think about the failures that have taken place on the Sanibel Causeway and the bridges on the way to Pine Island, I would never have thought that those bridges would fail the way they have. So exercise an awful lot of caution. We are assessing more than 400 traffic signals in Lee County. Some of them at the intersections remain in place. Some of them even have electricity, but we have to inspect every one. They just about all of them require repair, and many are just simply missing. They were by the storm. They were torn from their places where they're attached in the intersections, and they're just gone. So over the next week or so, we'll be rebuilding and fixing all of those traffic signals. Lee County has a debris removal contractor. Some of you may recall after Hurricane Irma 5 years ago, there was hundreds of thousands of cubic yards of vegetative debris on the ground in Lee County. But it doesn't appear to be as much this time, but we have a contractor in place who is in town today assessing the amount of debris that's going to have to be removed, and over the next day or so you'll be seeing that contractor with very large tractor trailers picking up debris all over the county to make sure that the roadways continue to remain open. Our Department of Natural Resources and our Department of Transportation are continue to monitor the flooded areas and assessing infrastructures that assist with drainage of roadways and low-lying areas. You all probably know by now that we had a very significant storm surge. In some areas of the county, we saw about 10 feet of water come on shore. Some of those areas remain flooded, but most of that water is now receding. But we'll still see low-lying areas where it's going to take some time for that water to drain, and we'll be working in all those areas to facilitate that drainage of that water. Please do not bring your yard waste from the storms to the solid waste facilities right now. Take it to the curb, and we can pick it up there. Collection of trash, recycling, and yard waste is suspended today and Friday. And so we're asking you not to place those materials at the curbside just yet. Wait for those announcements through local media and social media and some of the other platforms that we will use to tell you when we'll start picking up solid waste again. Except the next bullet point says the solid waste garbage collection will resume Monday, October 3rd. So that decision's been made, and that was new for me. Last but not least, county is working with United Way and the Collaboratory to provide people a way to make donations of cash and to help those in our community who have been impacted. Once details are worked out, we will post them on our website and Facebook page. So please stay tuned. We have a lot of local residents who have lost their homes. Yesterday, during one of our press conferences, I mentioned that it's just heartbreaking to see the amount of damage that's taken place for Lee County. And today, I got a really good look at it from the air, and the sheriff can speak to this because he has some firsthand knowledge of some of the devastation out there. Our community really looks like some of the disasters we see periodically throughout the year that have taken place in other parts of the country, whether it's the wildfires or floods or tornadoes. Our community looks like it's been hit by a very large tornado. So you have a lot of neighbors who are going to be in need of resources. Be patient, be kind, and if you're able to donate, please do. It's going to take a while for us to recover, but we are well organized, and I think situated as well as any county in the state of Florida might be. So please stay tuned, and you'll see in the coming days an awful lot of activity that will begin to help us get back to normal. Sheriff?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. DiGiorle. Thanks for being here today. Obviously, we've been hit very hard. This morning I got up in the helicopter. I know the county managers, the county commissioners, we got up there and we got to see the eye in the sky and really get to see what this county looks like. And I can tell you from the heart, there are no words that can describe what we got to see. As you see some of the Barrier Islands, they got hit very hard. But when you look at Fort Myers Beach in particular, there's no words to describe it. It does look like a large tornado did go through it. Homes that would stand tall, buildings are completely gone. When you look at the bayside, which obviously was washed into the Gulf and back and forth, you have vehicles that are submerged, barely showing. Again, we haven't been able to get to that vehicle or those vehicles or those boats that are upside down inside the bay. This is a long-term commitment that we have here. Last night, special operations units and patrol deputies were out. We were all out in full force. And we're going to gain access to the people that called 911 in priority to make certain that we help everybody as quick as possible. I know that firsthand dozens of rescues were made in waist-high water where my family members and other responders were able to access people in need and safely get them out of their house and rescue. When we look at the storm, before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm, those three parts, now that the storm has passed us, what we ask, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. There's a reason for that. Although there's no more storm and it looks like the sun is shining, there are so many challenges and there are things that could truly hurt you. In the water, there could be electricity, there can be downed power lines. We don't want you to be out and get hurt. And we also want you to stay clear so we can properly get out there and assess what we have. For those of you that are absolutely heartbroken over what you've lost, my heart goes out to you and your families. We're in this together. If you're worried about welfare checks and your loved ones, I know when you call our local hotline number, unfortunately, you get sometimes disconnected. There's such an influx of calls coming in. Just be patient and keep calling. We are going to get to you. We are going to help you. Teams are out there firsthand right now doing exactly what we need to do, and that is get out there and make things happen. Prioritizing calls. Okay, we had a couple thousand plus calls that we're holding. And what did we do? The second we could, we were out there answering those calls immediately with teams, both from the local, state, and federal side. Governor DeSantis has been a blessing. He has truly been in touch with us completely. I mean, I can't tell you numerous times every single day the First Ladies contact me to say, look, these are the assets that are coming to you. My fellow brothers and sisters in the Florida Sheriff's Association, sheriffs from North Florida, this state is great for a reason, and that is because this whole team comes together and we make things happen. And we're always going to protect and serve the great citizens of this county and this state. I also want to tell you that when you come to an intersection, we have down power lines. We're out of electricity. It's difficult to communicate. Please, please stop and take an extra minute to be certain when you cross an intersection that you don't just assume you got the right of way. Things are very difficult. There's major intersections that don't have any lights. There may be a stop sign on the pavement, but you got to stop and really pay attention if you are going to be out. Again, don't go out unless you really have to. Understand that we are in full force. There's the search, there's the rescue, and the recovery. And we are rescuing as we speak. I'm getting briefed continuously. My family members are out there working with everyone you see here. This county has come together. We are going to work together. Don't panic. We're coming to help. Help is on the way, and we are going to be there for you. This county at every level knows exactly what we need to do, and we're going to make it happen. And lastly, the message is going to be very clear when we talked about a curfew. It's our responsibility and our duty to protect those that cannot protect themselves right now, when you have homes that cannot be secured, when you have businesses that if they're not washed away, they can't be secured. So from a law enforcement perspective, anyone or any persons that think they're going to loot or do anything like that, I can tell you with certainty, we have deployed hundreds of deputies strategically along this county, everywhere you look. We have the latest and greatest technology at the Real-Time Intelligence Center. Don't do it in this county. Don't make that mistake. Because one thing we do have is vacancy at the jail. And I guarantee you, if you try to prey on one of our great residents, you will find yourself in that jail. Right now, let's all be kind to each other, and let's all help each other. Help your neighbors and help people and be kind. Let's get through this together, and we will get back on our feet. I am more than confident, and I appreciate you very much. County Manager, you want to take some questions?
I'd like to introduce County Commissioner Brian Hammond, County Commissioner Ray Sandelli, and County Commissioner Mike Greenwell. Commissioner, did you have some comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, just briefly. Yeah,
Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. County Manager. Thank you, Sheriff Marcino, and I apologize for the appearance. I was out like many of you this morning picking up debris, picking up what was left of my roof and many other people's roof. I got to tell you, my heart is with all of you. I am so confident in the team that we have assembled here with the Sheriff's Office and the federal and state partners who are coming to help us with our county manager and the team that we have here working for you in the Emergency Operations Center. Trust me, we know and we see and we feel every bit about as bad as it is out there. We see how bad it is out there. I got a chance to drive through my district on my way from North Cape Coral into the Emergency Operations Center today. I can tell you the mobile home villages did not fare very well. There is metal everywhere wrapped all over the trees. I saw shopping center, Merchants Crossing, where the fabric store, the front of it just completely came off. I would say the biggest thing that I want you to remember if you're going to leave your house, and really we don't want you to leave your house right now, but is treat every intersection like a four-way stop sign. That is probably the most dangerous thing that I encountered right now is just driving. And so it is not a safe time to drive, so really don't do it if you don't have to. And we are here for you, and we are going to rebuild. Absolutely. Commissioner Sandelli?
Thank you for being here, and I just wanted to reiterate two things. I did the same thing that many of us did this morning. I was up early, wanted to visit some of my constituents and see things as they unfolded. We come to work every day motivated to get things done, but patience right now is really key. Be thoughtful, be courteous. That second that you're going to try to go through an intersection stuff could be more costly than some of the other things that are happening. So please be patient, be kind, and if you see somebody that needs some help, that's what makes us the community that we are. And we are, as the sheriff always says, we're a family. Let's keep it that way. Thanks.
I think the same thing. I think we all need to have patience. I know driving over here, everybody was pretty courteous, using every stop, major intersection as a four-way stop. This is the time to come together as a community. We have a wonderful sheriff out there doing everything they can, city manager. We're truly a family here, and it's time to be county strong. Let's get strong and work together and help our neighbors, and we're going to get through this, so let's make sure we have patience and we're taking care of our neighbors. Thank you.
So I think that will end our briefing for this afternoon. But please do visit our website periodically and watch for updates. And as the days progress, we will see more and more state, federal, and local help out in the neighborhoods, helping clear debris, helping get the power back on and get the water back on, and so we'll begin to get back to normal. And as everyone said, please be patient and please be kind to your neighbors. Thank you very much.